Porter County Sheriff's Department have taken their time on their day to come here and talk to us a little bit about what they're seeing kids do when they make poor choices. So I'll let you guys introduce yourself.
So my name is Jeff Biggs. This is Matt Edwards. I'm the sheriff's chief deputy, and so a lot of people don't know really what that is. You know, like what is a chief deputy? And basically, I fill in for the sheriff when he's not available. Matt's a lieutenant. He runs a patrol crew. He's actually working right now. So his guys are out on the street right now. And he also oversees the Portage SROs. So if you follow that situation over there, Matt's needing that. So, but what we've done is we just want to bring some of the stuff that the SROs are seeing at the different schools, kind of talk about it, and then over the years, some of these have been collected, and I just brought some of these with us. A lot of them, some of the oils still leak out, so they get oily. But I just wanted to kind of touch base, and when we get to this stuff here, you can maybe talk more about that, Julie. But, so, you know, Clint was asking, like, what's the difference with, you know, the juuling and stuff? And so what we see in law enforcement is just, it's a progression, right? Here, I don't know if anyone knew or has seen or maybe don't want to admit, this little wooden one-hitter that marijuana was packed into. There's a single pipe that is in here. This is the old glass marijuana smoky pipes. Okay, you can pass these around just so you guys can see. But that was, you know, that was back in the day. That was what we were getting off kids, you know, all the time. Now when you progressed into these, you guys have probably seen some of these vapes.
This is like 20 years ago, and then this is 10 years ago.
Yeah. Well, yeah, when I was working the street, we were taking, you know, stuff off there. Are we seeing much of that anymore?
We see that on regular patrol, that you're not trying to hide it from teachers or something, but in the schools, we're not seeing that in the schools anymore, because there's so many other ways for them to hide, is to get the THC stuff within marijuana.
Okay.
So in the schools, we don't really see that. It may be in their cars, but they're not bringing that type of stuff into the school.
Okay.
But even these vapes, what I wanted to show is, you know, you guys have seen these. This is the one that screws on the top, okay? But if you slide this around, there's a substance inside here, okay? Now, it should move around. If it's nicotine, it should move around like this, right? Kind of fluid, right? If you see that one's more like a wax. And so it barely moves, and it has to be heated up in order for it to become more liquefied. Again, some of the old pipes that we used to see. But this one here is also a marijuana pipe as well. The marijuana is packed inside here, and then the bottom piece here heats up the marijuana, and that's how they smoke the pipe. Okay? But just no different than...
Wait, that thing is the pipe?
Yeah, this is the pipe right
It
here.
looks like a pen.
Yeah.
So how does it heat it up? Is it an external heat source?
Yeah, there's a button right here.
Oh, it's a battery?
It's electric?
Yep. So it would heat it up. It would heat up the marijuana, and they smoke it through the top here.
Okay. I guess that's someone that really wants to smoke.
No different, though, really, than when, you know, the old pipe, when they would just, like a regular pipe, and heat it up at the front.
So, okay, you said something about the liquid substance versus the wax substance. What's the difference?
Oh, so, I'm sorry, so the wax substance is the THC. That's the marijuana.
Oh,
Okay.
okay. Oh, I can show you some.
Okay, so then you get into the jewels. And I don't know if anyone's ever, did you guys watch any videos on jeweling? Okay.
No. Oh, some of it, yeah.
A little bit.
Okay, so they say it looks like a thumb drive, right?
Yep.
Yeah.
Well, it's because this is how it's plugged in.
Oh,
USB port, okay? This is, the bottom part is the charging device. Okay, all it does is it magnetizes into it, and then this is the heating source. So no different than those other pipes. This is the heating source. This is where the nicotine or the THC is at.
Is it always those two things, nicotine or THC, or?
Yeah, that's what you...
Yeah.
either-
So they can,
No,
I
there's-
had no
there's actually-
idea.
You can put the nicotine...
Marijuana?
You can
Marijuana
put
in
the
there.
CBD oil now, that you can buy CBD oil. Or they can do the dab, which is the wax, which is the THC, which you can't get that in Indiana. But you
Can or can't?
cannot, because
Okay.
marijuana is still illegal. in
But
But
in
you can
Michigan,
order
you
from
can.
Colorado. Supposedly they don't ship from Colorado, but it's getting shipped here somehow.
What is that, that's now what's gonna be available in Michigan?
And I don't know if they're going to just,
If THC's legal, then I would imagine it's gonna be there.
And I think it is.
It's just another form.
Oh, wow.
Wait,
But I want you guys to
so-
see each of these
Are you-
pieces, so you
when
can
you
see
say-
like,
You say if THC is legal, is that part of the whole CBD craze, or is that
no,
something
that's different.
separate, because that's the psychedelic part
or
of
it's
it?
only 0.03% of it, so that's why that's legal for it.
Right,
But they're not really getting a high off of that, but they still will put that in the pens and the jewels.
for what purpose?
It's
Just because?
hoping that gives you something more than nicotine will.
Okay.
So the little bit of research that I've done on these two is that they say, just one of those little cartridges is like a pack of cigarettes. Yeah. And so the buzz that they're getting off of that is a lot more. Okay? This is what they come in. So this would be the box that your Juul and your extra cartridges come in. So the reason why I wanted to bring all this stuff too is so that you guys actually see it, hold it for the first time, and know that if you ever come across something that looks like this, then you know that, what is two.
Yeah.
Because I wouldn't know what that is, not
Yeah.
until I've done my research or talked to, the SROs.
Feel like it belongs to your mouse.
Yeah.
So true. Hey, you dropped your flash drive.
Yeah.
Hey, this is Tommy, she's out of it.
Go ahead, jump in.
Are they mixing the Juul, like the tobacco smelling?
Oh, yeah.
What I'm talking about with the THC, so that you can't smell it?
Well, it smells like berries.
They're gonna just smell like berries or sweet smells.
Not skunk.
No, you're not gonna smell.
Guys, there was
The only one
a,
that's gonna smell like the weed is.
there's a
the
student
pen.
in Pennsylvania, I just saw it online this week, on a dare, one of these units right here, went up to their teacher, told them their flash drive needed to be recharged, and the teacher charged it for them on her computer, not knowing what it was.
Oh,
They were actually
my
charging
God.
it.
I want to know that thing.
No,
Did it on a
what I'm
dare.
asking is, are
Did it on a
they
dare.
mixing
No.
The two oils together?
the two together?
They could.
Yeah, no kidding, right?
I mean, if they wanna try a high yield.
Unfortunately.
We don't, like I said, I work dealer SRO and branch it out. We
It's a lot-
don't-
it's a lot
either
easier to
one
hide.
or the other.
So nobody sees them bubble?
I
Valpo
would
has,
imagine there's
Valpo's, they're no different than any other school, but
Okay.
I'm not sure that the kids are mixturing them together. There's no benefit to it.
So all schools are seeing these.
Yeah.
My kids go to Morgan Township, my daughter's in 7th grade, and some of her 7th grade, classmates work off of these. Washington Township had the same issue. Reading some of the reports, I was reading some of Steve's reports, and there was one case where a kid was called down to the office for juuling, and must have knew he was gonna do it, or had to go. Right before he got to the principal's office, threw this part of it in the garbage. So he walks in, this is all he's got.
I heard about that.
And so, luckily on that one, he actually confessed, and they retrieved the little thing out of the garbage, and he was charged with possession of marijuana, with a THC, and he is, CDC had two that he's actually field tested.
Yeah, they'll field test positive. It's called dab wax, same thing as marijuana. It's just the concentrated THC, which is 10 times worse than smoking marijuana by itself. Something that we see at the high schools, or if they use the dab pen, which is the THC. If they smoked it, you're gonna tell that they're high, because the few students that we've had, they look like they're zombies walking around on it. As compared to just a Juul and nicotine, you're probably not gonna see any different in that kid, 'cause it's just like smoking a cigarette. But if they're doing the wax, the dab, they're gonna actually appear like they're just zombies. Especially if it's not something that they're used to doing.
Now, do those put off a smell too, or no? No smell?
I haven't, no, but our dogs will hit on them because of the small amount. but they don't really put off the smell. Mostly, you're gonna, kids that go to the bathroom 15 times a day, they're not going because they wanna go.
Do they have a berry smell though?
Yeah,
Like-
well, because you get flavors of the month for the nicotine, so they're all kinds of
A lot of
different.
nicotine.
But not the marijuana,
So the marijuana,
and it doesn't smell like marijuana.
no, the ones that I smell, the dab, these pens,
Yeah.
I have it. The one that burns the marijuana smells just, yeah, that one smells like marijuana.
Right,
So you're probably not gonna see them in the school because they don't want anything that's gonna have the odor.
right.
But
I'm
you walk
worried about
into a
that
stall and
pen
you got two girls in the same stall, they're probably in there juuling. Two boys in the same stall, they're probably juuling.
Let's hope so.
Um,
I mean,
A lot of things that we see, if there's two boys next to there, they're just smart, they don't go in the same stall, they'll just pass a jewel underneath or over.
Right.
each other. And we've caught them doing that at the schools too. But the key way to know if it's dab or the nicotine, is like the chief said, if you turn it over, if it's fluid, it moves around, that's just gonna be the nicotine or the CBD. If it stays in a waxy form without heating it, that's gonna be the THC.
This is another one that's got more of the wax, it barely moves. Like Matt had said earlier to me, it really has to be heated up, you know, the THC.
And those little knuckle pens, just the cartridges, you can buy them online for about $5. So it's actually cheaper and it's more of a high buy those than those $5.
oh, yeah.
So
that's
they
it,
purchase all
that's
this
okay.
online?
I think, you know,
The stuff I saw, you could buy
I
online.
think someone buys a lot of quantity and someone sells it for the most part.
Oh, especially the school.
One of our officers stopped a kid, he had like 10 or 12 of them cartridges. You know, and he went to a local school around here, and we know that he was probably selling them, you know, paying $4 or $5 a cartridge, turn around and selling them for 10 or 15.
So like, one thing I think is important too for you guys to see, is even like, some of these, well, some of the ends, even like some of these, you know, that screw off. Let's say you don't find this, but you see this laying around. You know, this is something to recognize. There was another mouthpiece one, so it was a bigger, must have been a bigger jewel or a bigger vape or something. But it was, it looked like this, it looked like this end, you know, where you got the mouthpiece, you know, on it. But it was thicker and bigger, and I didn't recognize it at first, like what it even belonged to. This bottom piece was a lot bigger and looked different on the bottom. And it wasn't until like I had Schaefer in my office and he goes, yeah, that's to a different type of a dab or a pen. So it's important, and let's say you find this lane, you know, in the hallway. Then this is somewhere, right? This is another a different type of vape, right here.
It's like a tuner for a music thing.
What is it?
Oh,
Let's see.
look at that.
My guess is you're probably not gonna see too many vapes around your school just because of the amount of smoke that the vapes give off. Those were the things that led up to the juuling and the dab pen, but now with the jewels, they hardly give off any smoke at
It's
all.
a different story.
Huh?
As a juuling's a different story. You could, especially with the nicotine, with the flavored nicotine.
This is marijuana.
So I'm gonna assume, there's somebody in here that doesn't know the smell of marijuana. Okay? So what I did is these are containers where you put marijuana in.
Yeah.
So you put marijuana in the top of this, and then you crush it. Okay, because, you know, marijuana usually comes in a bud form. So then you shove it in here, you twist this up, and then you flip it over and you have your nicely crushed marijuana. So that's what these are. And there's some marijuana inside here. So I just kind of wanted to show you guys the difference. You know, smell what the oils smell like, you know, how berry-like they can smell, and then compare it to this.
So is that one a flashlight?
Yeah, those are just all kinds of grinders.
That one's another grinder, but it's electric.
Oh.
That sounds really good.
It smells good.
So someone said skunk smell?
Yeah.
Yeah, that's the marijuana smell.
Oh my God.
So how are you guys detecting? Is there methods to?
So, like in the high schools, the only way we're finding them is if someone tells on someone. which we don't get a lot of, but we monitor the bathrooms heavily now during passing periods, because that's normally when they're going. So at our schools, like I said, I work Portage, and we monitor the bathrooms a lot more. The teachers help out, they're constantly in and out of the bathrooms. So that's mostly how we're getting them.
Well, like, I think you were with Prashak on this one, but another SRO said that he saw like the same boys going into the bathroom over and over. And so he waited, about the third time they went in, he went inside there and kind of caught them,
In the bathroom.
Yeah.
So I was standing outside the bathroom, but someone watches me, obviously, to know. Well, the other lieutenant that was there visiting for the day, they didn't know him. He walked in without them knowing who he was. And that's how they got caught. But monitoring the bathroom is the biggest thing, because that's where they're going to do it. If you got a kid that constantly uses the restroom, probably have a reason.
So then when you catch them and they don't fess up because they're not totally caught red-handed, are you just checking their pockets because they're gonna have it? Are you
So
searching?
our school administrations do a lot of that for us, because that's what they want to do. So they search them, if they find it, then depending on their age and what the substance is, it depends on the punishment. If they search and they don't find anything, we're not doing strip searches, we're not doing cavity searches for that little bit. That kid would just be like, all right, you're on our radar, we know, but we're not gonna go that intrusive on it.
There is one in here, this one here. So, take this one off. Take that end off, and see what it looks like. Okay, hold it upside down. The other way. Hold it upside down.
Oh, this one.
Yeah. See how this stuff's not moving?
Right, so
Yeah.
this must be THC.
Yeah.
And we can test that too, you just got, there's two little things, you take the black part off, but usually what I did in the last one, I heat the element real fast, and let it get into a liquid form, and then I shut it off and then I twist it, and then it slowly comes down enough for me to use like a paper clip, and then we can take what's on the paper clip, drop it into a marijuana test kit, and it'll test positive for marijuana.
So if we get one of these things, could we call you guys to test it, or what would be the relationship? How would that work? We've got a Juul, we don't know if it's nicotine or what it is, call you guys up.
Yeah, what would you guys do? So, we found there's really only one school that and I won't name it since we're being recorded, but there's one school that even if they find like marijuana, THC and some of this stuff, that they just want to handle it in-house. They don't want to call police, they don't want to, get them arrested. So how would you guys handle that?
Oh, should I
If
shut
it's
this?
marijuana, we will involve the police. If it's nicotine, we'll handle it in-house.
Okay.
Yeah.
So just by this little, demonstration, you guys may be able to get a good feel of if it's THC or if it's nicotine, just by flipping it over and seeing how concentrated it is. So if it is warm, if you grab it and it's warm to the touch, maybe let it cool off before you do the little flip test. But yeah, if you called us, because you thought you had THC in one of those, we'd come and help out.
So we've had Brass Check come out and, run a dog around. What can he detect?
They'll detect everything but the nicotine.
Okay.
But what you're talking about, so our dogs, you're talking about threshold. So if you only got, say you just got a little jewel and it's only got a little dab left in it, and say it's the first time that jewel's been used, you're talking a small threshold. And if the dog's searching a large area, he may not hit that level because of the threshold's so small and the area's so big. And maybe he didn't have time to, the odor to expand out.
If it
But
was laying on a table,
if it's laying on a table, and he brings the dog, and we just tested the dogs a week and a half ago on an unused sealed cartridge, and all 3 dogs hit on it. And it was just down the hallway, so our dogs will hit on it. But, if it's just a jewel, it's got that small,
and
and
it's
just leave it there, we can bring the dog and run it
but if
by.
it's like in a backpack, in a locker,
Yeah, it was just a one-time, odds are you're probably not gonna find that one.
so by running a dog, I'm not gonna catch some of this stuff.
Right,
because he's just
I think
not.
most of our students carry everything on them,
right.
including their entire lockers. So when the dogs come through, they have their backpack and everything on them.
That's
That's a problem.
That's a problem. I just thought about that.
So really, when the dogs come through, they're not gonna find
Right.
the nicotine jewels.
No, they're not gonna find those at all.
And do you guys modify searches then at that point? Because when I asked Breast Check about it, you know, our other choice was they had all the bags go out in the hallway, but now you have, they've lost, it's no longer the bag, someone could have put something in it. So
Well, no, what we would do is, so, I'm not K-9 no more, I used to be, I'm not K-9, so I don't wanna speak, but in past, what they would do is we would come, the kids obviously don't know, the school goes down into like a lockdown mode.
yeah.
All the kids will then bring their backpack out and place their backpack in a line of backpacks, and then they'll leave them there. So if the dog hits on that, and that's Mary's backpack, and there's marijuana in there, Mary can't say, well, it was sitting out there, someone could have put drugs in there.
Very good.
No, Mary, you just put it there, no one's had opportunity to go in, the police aren't gonna frame you, that's your
Sure, we
marijuana.
got cameras and stuff, so that, yeah, okay, very good.
So that doesn't hold any weight.
And is there any, with just the nicotine jewelling, you can't tell at all?
No, we're not-
THC, then you can
Yeah.
kind of see,
Because you don't wanna train your dog to find nicotine.
no, I'm talking, I'm going back to the, a kid, so I see a kid, he looks like he's sick, or just tired, or his circles under his eyes, you know, Julie isn't gonna give us any,
I don't think the nicotine, but I've never smoked a cigarette in my life, so I don't know what that does to people, but I can't tell if someone smoked a cigarette or not.
The only
I can
thing-
definitely tell if someone smoked
The
marijuana.
only time we ever came up with some tobacco product was when we did a locker search. It wasn't involving a dog, we just did a locker search and
Yeah,
found what we were looking
And
for.
some of the best preventative stuff is to reach out to Corporal Gill, he runs our K-9 division now, and schedule something where he'll come in and he'll bring the dogs and to a locker, and that just gets the kids to know that the dogs do come to this school too. They don't just go to Washington, Morgan, Portage, Apple, they come to everywhere, you know? And that is sometimes a deterrent that they know that the dog, you never know the dogs are gonna show up.
right,
But that's a service that we do for any school that asks.
yeah.
Now, we don't do it every month because of the busyness, but, you know, they might be able to squeeze you in twice a year.
We did ours in September with the dog.
Yeah, activities in the school.
But our kids had their backpacks with them.
Yeah, that's modified.
Now,
It was just a locker search.
what is the age for the jeweling? I'm sorry, I don't know.
It depends on if
Like
you got a 6-year-old.
Legally.
Legally, it's just
Legally.
like cigarettes.
It's just like a cigarette.
Okay.
18.
So 18.
Okay. And so then ramifications, if a student was turned in to the police, that would be an offense.
So if he's 18 on school property with a jewel, it's not a police issue, it's a school issue.
What if they're younger than 18?
What?
Younger than 18?
We can write him a nicotine or possession of tobacco ticket.
Just like a citation, like a traffic ticket almost.
Okay.
And usually,
So it'd be fines.
the school punishment is more than the $180 ticket,
Right.
you know?
So the ticket itself is $180.
Yeah, they're about $180, I believe.
That's big for a kid, I mean.
Yes.
But not all schools want to write that ticket, so some schools do, some schools don't. It's whatever your school would want, you know, to do. But, you know, I'm a parent too. If I know if my kid's gonna be caught, it's gonna hit me up in the pocketbook every time. I'll probably police my kid a little bit more before I send him out the door to school.
Uh-huh.
You know, but some people don't wanna put that extra burden on families. So that's up something for your school corporation to decide what you wanna do with that.
Yeah.
Any more questions? Thank you guys.
Thank you very much.
Yeah,
Yeah.
thank you
Yeah.
for your
We
time.
appreciate that.
For